My backyard is cleaned up, my garden is watered, my mind is clear. It's time to get back to the underworld. There are still a lot of empty interiors in the underworld, and that's not even getting started on the fact that the underworld isn't half as big as I want it to be. No. We're gonna need to do some major expansions, but first, we get to do interiors as the reward for having built a bunch of buildings. But before we can get into those interiors, a little bit of housekeeping. The Cerberus that guards the entrance to the underworld, he now has a name. Thanks to Nuciee for providing the name suggestion, that Cerberus is now dubbed Cerberus, which is a great name, which is why I chose it. Thank you to everyone who inputted their suggestions. It's chosen from the comments, so if you want to have something chosen next time I ask for something to be named, just put in a comment. So yes, the Cerberus is now officially named Cerberus. But now that housekeeping's out of the way, we can get back to the underworld, where today we're going to be working on an interior, as I've mentioned before. It's going to be an interior inspired by a Wild West general store, just minus all of the, cowboy stuff. So let's get right into it. Interiors with corn. Last episode, we completed the interior of the pawn shop, which, aside from being a finished interior, also contains Midas, who appears to be having trouble with the stairs right now. But Midas, the zombie piglin who runs the pawn shop. Good morning, Midas. You're walking away from me, that's totally valid. Anyway, today, having completed the pawn shop, it's time to move on to a new interior. And that interior is the one right next door, because why not do everything in the order that is right next door? Which would be unsavory, which is going to sell food. I don't want to call it a food store, because, it's not going to sell good food, so calling it a food store is maybe a little misleading, but it's going to sell rotten food. It's unsavory. That's the whole point. But before we actually can do an interior, we once again have to do the diggy diggies, because why would I ever do the diggy diggies in advance? Interiors with corn. So I've gone ahead and I've done the diggy diggy. I've taken out the uneven bits of the floor. I've taken out a giant space so we actually have room to work with, and I've taken out the spikes. Because, I don't know, a spiked floor for the inside of a shop doesn't seem super cool with me. And you might be thinking, Corn, what are we doing with the interior now? And the answer is we are going back outside, and we are going to finish detailing the exterior, because I want little stalls here with some goods outside, sort of almost as an advertisement, but also just to make it clear, this is clearly a pawn shop, it's got a gold ingot. I want to make this more clear as well. I want to make it clear what things are. And so I'm thinking some little stalls out here would do great to do that. Interiors with corn. So I finished with the little front area detailing I wanted. Over here, we've got some bamboo, and some hay, and some pumpkins, and I am pretending that this daylight sensor is a packet of eggs, because it really does look like a carton of eggs to me, and you can even make them blue eggs, like from the update, but I'll keep them not blue right now. And then over here, we've got melon, and the resin is really good, because anytime I look at a resin block, I think something is wrong, what are you doing here? It could be fruit, this could very well be fruit, but it could also be toxic waste, and that is perfectly the vibe of unsavory. Might be fruit, might be toxic waste. Then we've got the prismarine, which I'm pretending is fish scales, and the nether quartz, which I'm going to say is some kind of meat, and it's all together a pretty well-balanced, sort of open shop area that I like. I like it. I like the stalls. I'm pretty satisfied with them. They might end up changing, but I'm pretty satisfied with them. So now, it's time to move on to the interior. But before we can actually start doing things in the interior, we might as well clean up the floor. Interiors with corn. So I've put in the floor, and also a lantern so I can see what I'm doing. And it's just spruce, because spruce, as you can see, is sort of a mainline theme throughout this entire area. I've been using spruce as my main wood tone, and so why not keep it in the interior as well? Even though I'm going to be doing a lot of barrels, and that's probably not ideal to have it be so matchy-matchy, but whatever. And I've got the step down here because, we're going to have a zombie villager running the store, so when I put my nice big counter in here, because I'm planning on putting a counter here. When I put that there, won't be able to jump out because of the half step down. Very good. Won't be able to get out and be aggroed by any other residents. So yeah, I've got the floor, and you can already hear that I'm planning on putting in a counter here. I'm thinking maybe some shelving back here, just because a lot of the pictures of general stores that I've seen when I've been looking have lots and lots of shelving. They're almost like pawn shops in a way, but with more barrels, which is hence why I'm planning a lot of barrels. So I'm thinking I'm going to put in the counter, but I'm also thinking that I'll probably put in the stairs right around now too, so I can plan where the shelving units are going to go and know how much space I have. Interiors with corn. So I've put in this counter, and I've put in the stairs and part of the second floor, because that's just how doing stairs works, and it is a lot of spruce. But don't worry, we're gonna break it up with a lot of shelving units and some more barrels, which is more spruce. And I bet you can't guess what wood I'm going to use to break it up. That's right, you can't guess it. It's dark oak. It's dark oak, my favorite child, dark oak. And yes, I know, the interior we did last time is also dark oak and spruce. They go together so well, you know? It's just perfect. So I'm thinking we put shelving. We definitely put a bunch of shelving back here. And in most of the general store pictures I see, there are a lot of barrels that people can just sort of rummage in. So I'm thinking barrels and shelving over here. And I figure I'll also put in the ceiling, but I'm not going to do it as fancy. Or maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever it is, we're going to put in some shelving and we're going to put in some barrels. We're going to put in so many barrels. So many barrels. Interiors with corn. So the ceiling's in, and I fixed up the stairs, and I've gone and put a bunch of shelves and barrels in. And it is looking kind of like what I want. It just needs, like, a lot more detail work. It needs the custom heads, it needs all of the extra bits, and it needs baby gates, because I'm just now noticing that I have forgotten the baby gates. So we're going to be doing all of that, and probably some armor stands, and I will be back once that is complete. Interiors with corn. So I've done a fair amount of work in the interior, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's not done, like, for instance, I want to put the bucket of pufferfish in, but I'm only going to do that once I'm satisfied with the rest of it, because otherwise, yeah, and I don't want to be walking into that when I'm trying to, like, fix little things. But I've got, like, the big pieces in of what I want to be doing, and even some of the fine detailing. Like, it's the big pieces of the fine detailing, if that makes sense, which, honestly, it doesn't, listening to myself, but hopefully you'll get the idea. But right now something feels off, and I'm pretty sure it's the lighting because it is so gosh darn bright in here. I cannot with this. It is too bright, it is too bright, it is throwing off the vibes. So I think it's time to fix the lighting and just make it feel more like what it's supposed to feel like, which starts with it being dimmer, so... Interiors with corn. So I've messed around with the lighting a bit, and I think it looks much better in here. It's just moodier, it's dimmer, it matches the other shop more, you know, it's just, it has better vibes when there's less light. And it is still spawn safe. That's because there's a light upstairs, but like, if that becomes a problem, I'll just change it down here. I've also started stocking some of the items, which I feel pretty good about. And it's pretty much done down here, aside from putting in the pufferfish and putting some last-minute signs to do prices for various items. So now, it's time to work on the upstairs. Interiors with corn. I've gone and nabbed some basic sort of putting things down blocks, and it's time to start planning. One of the things I really know is that I've got to fix this wall somehow, so we're just gonna mark that because while it looks cool and like the glass is important from the outside, this does not look like a build, like it just doesn't look right. So we're probably gonna lose this entire wall just to make it more wall-like. We're gonna lose the space that it provided. But that's okay, that's why I dug a little deeper on this one. I mean, by dug a little deeper, not like interpersonally, like I dug this wall back more than the other one. But so anyway, we've got our new wall that's gonna go here. And I know we're gonna have a kitchenette because, like, how else do you do food? So maybe here, something like this. Just, you know, vague kitchenette area. But what I definitely want, is I definitely want to have a dining table. I didn't have that in the last one, but for this guy, I think there should be, like, a big dining table. And now the problem is I have made this entire thing the kitchen and dining room, and I don't have a place to put a bed. So that's not good. Okay, let's start with the bed. If you come up over here, bed should be there. So, bed here, some kind of wall to separate, and then, yes, we can put dining table here, and put the kitchen over here. And that's a pretty good plan. Now it's just time to, like, actually use real blocks to do it. Interiors with corn. Okay, so I've put the wall in, and looking again and then at where the windows are, while I like this kind of ceiling height, I kind of want to raise it up maybe just a little bit so we can take a better advantage of the windows and have the windows on actually, like, window level. So I'm gonna see what happens, but I think I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit. Interiors with corn. So I've raised it, and while the ceiling is now a little bit low, I feel much better about it because, like, yes, this is the height for windows, it makes the most sense. The stairs, it's not too weird and you have to kind of intentionally notice that there's a bit of a discrepancy, but because it's moved up here, the lights higher, and so I had to move around the light downstairs, so I moved from here to here, and I had to stick a piece of glow light in. But it's not too bad, and you don't see it unless you're looking for it, which should be, like, my mantra at this point. So we can continue working on the upstairs and just putting in the pieces. Interiors with corn. So, I finished the interior. May have gone a little bit overboard. But here goes a tour. So you walk in, this is the downstairs. You've pretty much seen it all before. It is fully stocked, including this barrel, which we'll get back to later. But yes, it's fully stocked. The only thing missing is the pufferfish, which I'm still not putting in because I would like to have, the zombie villager in here before I put the pufferfish in, just to make, getting the zombie villager here easier. And then we go upstairs to the apartment, and we've got, a nice 2-bed apartment. Only one person will be living here. That's not ominous at all. We've got a nice dining room with I thought it was a fitting painting. We've got, a kitchen that is in no way worrisome. That's not worrisome at all. And the sword nope, not worrisome at all. And all in all, I think it's just a very nice, it's a very nice flat. And I'm pretty proud of the interior. I think it came out pretty well. And it is exactly the amount of worrying I was going for, which is great. So now, all that's left to do is actually get the zombie villager here, and name him and stuff, and then do the last finishing touches. And the easiest way to get a zombie villager here is probably to get a villager here and then zombify it. So, we'll see how that works. Now, this task is pretty straightforward. Get a villager, zombify the villager, blammo, we've got the guy. However, I wanted a very specific zombie villager because I'd been looking at the different renders and trying to decide which one was the best, and I decided that the Acacia Butcher zombie villager looked the best. So that's the guy we're trying to get, which means we need to go to an Acacia village, make a guy a butcher, and then bring him all the way back to the shopping district, get him into the underworld, and then zombify him there, because we don't want him picking up items. And I mean, that's very doable, right? That can't be foreshadowing anything going wrong. Alright, here we go. Closest Acacia village to the shopping district. Let's hope someone is still alive here. And I'm seeing, I think, one guy on minimap. Oh, 2 guys. Okay, I can definitely kidnap one. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Who wants to come live in a cave? Hello, sir. Oh, yes, very good, very good. And now, excuse you? You want to go live in a cave. This is just how it works. Put this here. Yes, okay. I was afraid this was gonna happen. Please, just emerald trade, please. Thank you. And now you're locked in. Very, very good. Alright, and now I say, what if you come this way? And what if you come this way? And it's gonna be a long walk. Sorry. And so I walked the villager the 200 blocks to this shopping district, and it was rough. It was rough because, like, sometimes villagers don't seem to pathfind right. Like, you'll put the block down and they'll just stare at you like they're being ornery on purpose. Or sometimes when I would pick the block up to move it, I was moving the smoker so that, he would walk farther. He would just turn around and start walking back to the village, and I was like, no, dude, why? But it was a hassle. It was a real big hassle, and I'm glad that I'm not going to have to do it again. Please don't make me do it again. But once I got the villager actually down to the underworld, it was pretty straightforward from there, and I could get him into the right house. Except I forgot villagers could open doors. Very good. Close. No. Alright, very good. Do I know where you're going? No, but you seem to, so... Hello, no, I'm over here. I'm real tasty. I'm over here and I'm real tasty. sir? Can you handle a door? You can handle a door. Okay. Very good. Come here. Yeah. Come here. Hello? Yeah. Where's the guy? There's the guy. Okay, very good. Okay, this should work. Yes. Very good. Hello. Very good. No! Now there comes a time in every person's life where you have to choose between what is right and what is easy. And I have made a habit of choosing what is right. I have. I went back so many times for the piglin. I did. And this time I took the easy way. I mean, like, come on, it's not that bad. He's holding rotten flesh. Rotten flesh, that makes sense. That makes so much sense. You know what? That works. That works. That really, really works. That works really well. I don't have to be upset about this. Hello, Tantalus. Now you might be thinking, Corn, why did you name the zombie villager Tantalus? And what was up with all of the mysterious stains in the apartment? And that barrel you said we'd get back to? And the answer is they're all the same answer. I named him Tantalus after the myth of Tantalus, because I'm doing the underworld as inspired by Greek mythology. It's an undercity that's a little bit criminal underbelly, but first and foremost, it is inspired by Greek mythology. So I named the zombie villager Tantalus after the myth of Tantalus, which I shall now get into. Trigger warnings include cannibalism and child murder, so if you don't like that, I'm just going to warn you here. Greek mythology is not where you go to find best practices for life. It's got a lot of uncomfy things in it, and if you don't like that, that's chill. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I suggest skipping to this timestamp, which I shall put above my head, because there will be discussions of the topics I have listed above and mentioned. Alright, we cool? We cool. I'm going to preface the tale of Tantalus by saying that this is just one version of the tale, because trying to get definitive with Greek mythology is like trying to kill a creaking. You can keep hitting it, it's gonna keep giving you stuff, but you'll never really know, and it's never going to end. There is no definitive with Greek mythology, this is just one version. My personal stance is that all versions, all interpretations are valid, unless you're Nathaniel Hawthorne, whereas stop. But anyway, the tale of Tantalus, as I've heard it and read it, goes as such. Tantalus was the king of Phrygia, and he wanted to test the gods, which is, of course, in Greek mythology, always the best choice. So he killed and cooked up his son Pelops to serve to the gods at a feast. Now, the gods weren't super happy with that because, you know, child murder and cannibalism, so Tantalus was sent to the underworld to be punished. His permanent punishment as a fixture in the underworld was to be standing in a pool of water with a bunch of tasty fruit right above his head. But if he went down to drink the water, it would recede from him, and if he reached up to get the fruit, it would pull away from him, and he would always be tantalized by what he could not reach. That's how we get the word tantalized, by the way. Now, I looked at that and thought, what about Tantalus in my underworld? What kind of punishment should he have? As a zombie villager, it's torturous for him to be running a shop that players will visit because he wants to eat them, but he can't. How about that? Besides, he's working retail, and that's torturous enough in of itself. Now, getting back to the interior, in case you haven't guessed yet, the second smaller bed in the apartment above the store, that was Pelops's. And that barrel I said we'd get back to? Unsavory doesn't just sell rotten flesh. It also sells Pelops pieces, which are limited time because once they're gone, they're gone. And now, with the zombie villager in place, the interior is pretty much complete. There's just one last thing. And of course, the final touch. A live pufferfish.